G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video we're going to be ranking the 2022 NRL fullbacks. Now before we get too much into it, what I'm going to say is I've put in the players that in my mind played most of the season at fullback. So you've got players like Jake Averillo, Matt Duffy also played there, but Jake's pretty much their fullback. Scotty Drinkwater played most of 2022 at fullback. Who else have we got here? Ryan Papenhausen was injured, but he still played a good chunk of the season at fullback, so I have added him in. Tamari Martin and Cody Ramsey. I think those two are arguably their team's fullbacks were their team's fullbacks for 2022. I have gone Reuben Garrick because Turbo missed the majority of the season. Xavier Savage, obvious reasons, and then I had AJ Brimson to start with, but I had a blonde moment, and he's predominantly played 5'8" this year, so Jaden Campbell gets the call up for this list. All right, so let's go over the tiers. So starting off, we've got elite level fullback, so that's the best of the best, basically. Then you got your great fullbacks that are either could be considered origin fullbacks or just a really good player for their club. Average fullbacks play, sorry about that, bloody AFL. Average fullbacks, basically, the fullbacks that get they do their job, but they're not as good as a great or an elite level fullback. Then I've got only a reserve grade fullback. I personally don't think we'll have any of these players in that list, but you never know. So let's jump in and see how I've ranked everyone. Now, basically, what I will say is, we're just using two examples. So say I put Averillo above Jaden Campbell. That doesn't mean he's better. It's just I'm just going by how the list is set up from down here. So we're not ranking Brimson. We're going to start with Scott Drinkwater. Now, Scott Drinkwater is a very good player. Very, very good player. I'm going to put him in a great fullback. I think, if Teddy wasn't lining up for the New South Wales squad and there wasn't like a bunch of other decent fullbacks lining up for it, I think Scott Drinkwater could definitely get a call up. Like he wouldn't look out of sorts in a Blues jersey. Let's be honest. I think Scott Drinkwater is a great fullback. I think he gets the job done. He does what he needs to, and he goes above and beyond for his club. So I'm happy to put a great fullback there. There's probably going to be a lot of players in the great fullback one, and a few in average fullback. But we'll keep this going. So next up, we've got Dylan Edwards. Actually, I'm going to change this to good fullback. I feel like average is a bit disrespectful. Jesus Christ. There we go. All right. So Dylan Edwards, to me, 100% is an elite level fullback. I think, he's arguably the second best fullback in the game. You'd have to say he's not underrated anymore. He got shown some love in the grand final, winning the Clive Churchill medal, which was absolutely deserved. So, I think elite level fullback is pretty well good there. Next up, we've got Will Kennedy. I think he's a good fullback. He's not, anything great, but he does his job for the Sharks and he digs in and he has a good crack. So I like Will Kennedy, but I can't put him in great. I think he's a good fullback, but definitely not up there with some of the greats. Clint Gartheson, he's definitely going in a great fullback. Defensively, he's probably the best fullback in the game. You could probably argue Dylan Edwards, but I really do rate Clint Gartheson. As much as he does my head in when he whinges and carries on, he is definitely up there for one of the better fullbacks in the game, that's for sure. But I definitely do think there are fullbacks better than him. And he's still a great fullback, but definitely think there are players better than him. Next up, Callum Ponga. He's going in great. A lot of people would probably argue that he's an elite level. I don't think he is. I really don't. And the reason for that is, yes, look, he plays really well at state level, but, club level, like, he doesn't do what, like, Latrell Mitchells and the Turbos and all those players do. Like, he plays, he can get wins, but he doesn't as much as those elite level players. Like, you look at the Knights, even with Callum Ponga, they're a bottom 4 team this year, so it was very disappointing. But you look at Manly with Turbo, they're arguably a top 8 side. So there's still that, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, ranking Callum this low. I just think he's a little bit overrated. I really do. This is coming from a Queensland supporter, guys. Like, massive Queensland fan, and I love what he does for the Maroons. But, like, he's got a good team around him there. I just don't know. I think he, as a young kid, he was, he was doing some crazy freakish stuff, and everyone's like, man, this dude's going to be amazing. He is a great fullback. He is a great fullback, but I cannot put him at elite level. Next up, Trell Mitt, definitely going in elite level. He's not your average fullback. The stuff he does, he sets up tries. He can switch it on and he can just run over any player in the game. Doesn't matter how big they are, unless it's Moses Leoda. We're not going to talk about that. He's got silky hands, arguably the best hands for a fullback. As Campbell would say, silkiest hands in the NRL. He just creates something from nothing. And when he's not playing for the Rabbitohs, they struggle. They've got no attack. Like, it's disappointing. But he is definitely an elite level fullback, 100%. You guys might say I'm biased for that take, but I honestly believe that. And you can say what you want, but he is definitely an elite level fullback. Next up, we've got Dane Laurie. He's a good fullback. Again, similar to Will Kennedy, he's not a great fullback. He plays very well at the Tigers, but he's not doing a lot of what, like, your Scott Drinkwaters or your Clint Garthesons do. He still puts up good stats, but I think if he has a massive leap next year, we could definitely say he's a great fullback, but he hasn't reached his peak yet. He's still got a few years left till he reaches that level. And I think then we might have something different to say about him. But I think at the moment he's a good fullback, definitely not a great. Next up, we got Ryan Papenhausen. I'm putting him in great. Again, you could argue that he should be in elite level. Might be a bit of a dick move here, but I'm putting him in great due to his injury concerns. He's had a lot. He's had a lot of injuries. He can't really stay fit. A bit like Turbo. On his day, he can definitely be up here. But I think we honestly haven't seen enough of him on the field to warrant him being an elite level. You could make an argument that why is Latrell up there then? But I just think, Storm are still decent without Ryan Papenhausen. Yes, they could probably be a lot better with him. But I think still a great fullback. Probably better than the 3 fullbacks I've got listed with him. But I just can't put him in elite level, and I know I'm going to cop a lot of flack for that, but that is just my opinion, guys. Next up, we've got Tamari Martin. I'm going to put him in good. Could be closer to here. Look, he's a good player. He's a very good player, but and he's definitely not only a reserves fullback. Like, he is a very good player. Can create something out of nothing, but we just haven't seen enough of an NRL career from him, I guess, to rank him any higher than good fullback. He's a serviceable fullback. He gets the job done, but he's not great. He's good, not great. Same thing can be said for Cody Ramsey. Very good player, really good player. Arguably the Dragons' best fullback. You could say that what's his name? Sloan didn't get a good enough chance there, but I think when Cody Ramsey was given the opportunity, he proved that he is a good fullback, and he can get the job done there. So I think a good rating is a fair rating for Cody Ramsey. Next up, we've got Reuben Garrick. If it wasn't for Turbo, I think he gets a start on a lot of NRL teams. You could even say, you look at the Knights. Newcastle were looking at Reuben Garrick to play fullback and move KP to 5'8". Like, that was the rumours going around. So teams can see how good this kid is, or he's not a kid, but this player is. And I think Garrick is honestly a great fullback. And if it wasn't for Turbo, he'd have that number 1 jersey locked in and would not look out of place there. All right, next up, we've got Xavier Savage, who will one day be in here with ease. But at the moment, he's in this tier. Amazing fullback, amazing player. He's still got a lot of learning and development. He makes some silly errors occasionally, and some of his defensive reads aren't great. But at the same time, he's another one of those fullbacks that can create something out of nothing, and he does that on nearly every week. So definitely not a Resi's fullback by any means. I'd say he's on the cusp of eventually being great, but at the moment he's in the good tier. All right, next up we've got Teddy, who I believe is the best fullback in the NRL, second best fullback of all time. So James Tedesco is definitely my take for an elite level fullback. He is arguably what kids are growing up looking up to these days. He's set a new benchmark for fullbacks. Running for nearly 300 meters a game is crikey. Running for, I'm going to say, of course I'd sneeze. I tell you, the dust got me. Running for over 300 meters in a lot of games this year. He's crazy. Sorry. So I just think, he sets the benchmark for where every fullback should, or where most fullbacks should aspire to get to. Dylan Edwards is a bit similar to him, but I personally believe Dylan Edwards is more of your defensive style fullback, and which he can attack as well, obviously. But James Tedesco, 100% in my opinion, the best offensive fullback in the NRL. And then you got Latrell Mitchell up there as well, who we've already spoken about. He's also changed the game for fullbacks. Like, you've got, between Teddy and Latrell, you've got two completely different fullbacks who are amazing in what they do individually. All right, next up, we've got Rhys Walsh. I think Rhys Walsh is a great fullback. I honestly do. I just think he was in a poor system at the Warriors that he couldn't flourish in. I think fresh start at the Broncos is going to do him a world of good, and he definitely deserves to be in the great fullback conversation. I really do. Next up, we've got Jake Averillo. Again, good fullback, arguably the best fullback for the Bulldogs. I thought they should have had him at fullback a long time before Matt Duffy was put in there. I thought they should have started the season with him at fullback and Kyle Flanagan at halfback, like they did when Mick Potter took over. They won games with that combination, so I like that. I think Averillo probably will never be a great fullback, but he definitely, I think, will always be a good fullback. And then finally, Jaden Campbell at the moment is a good fullback, very similar to Xavier Savage. Obviously, I think Xavier's a bit more experienced than Jaden, but they're both similar players. They're both very explosive, can make something happen out of nothing. For Jaden's size, he is actually quite strong as well. He can break tackles. Like, don't let his size fool you. But one of the great sons of great players in the NRL. So look, I've got to give a massive shout out to Jaden Campbell. Very good player. I think we'll see Savage get up here before we see Campbell. But very, very good player. Let me know what you guys thought about this list. I know I'm going to cop a bit of flack for some of the decisions here. But again, guys, this is my opinion. So please do let me know yours down in the comments below. If you agree with me, let me know. Say, hey, look, I think you hit the nail on the head. If you disagree with me and you say, maybe these two should be up here, which I don't agree with, but, well, not that I don't agree with, I just, I just think these three players, and probably Turbo, when healthy, is just a little bit better than this tier at the moment. That's just my take, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.